The station pulsed with movement that morning-cold steel, fast footsteps, and a rhythm as unforgiving as the wind that swept through its arched halls. Amid the clatter and chatter, Dana Wallace pressed forward, her shoulders hunched beneath a threadbare coat that had seen too many winters. Her sneakers, worn and splitting near the soles, squeaked against polished marble floors, catching on the frayed hem of her jeans. She had retied her laces 3 times already that morning, each knot a whispered promise, just make it through today. Her breath fogged in the morning chill, still clinging to the massive terminal. Dana's backpack tugged at one shoulder, heavy not with books but with bills, ID copies, a resume smudged slightly from the drizzle outside, and a letter of interview confirmation for the only job callback she'd received in 2 months. Monroe and Harding. 10 a.m. She glanced at the massive digital clock hanging like judgment from the ceiling. Still 10 minutes. If nothing else went wrong, she might just make it. Sorry, excuse me, she murmured as she squeezed past a man in a tailored coat. His briefcase clipped her hip. He didn't look back. She didn't flinch. She was used to that. The city didn't make room for girls like her. Not girls carrying the weight of exhaustion in their eyes and old hope folded in their coat pockets. But today was supposed to be different. She was nearly to the west concourse when her pace faltered. At the top of the staircase leading to the platforms stood an elderly man, white, frail, motionless. His mouth moved slightly but no sound came. His cane hung awkwardly beneath one arm, untouched. His fingers fluttered in the air, lost and searching. People streamed past, some nearly brushing his shoulders, none stopping. Dana froze. Her eyes shot to the clock again. 8 minutes. She could still make it. Someone else would help. Someone else had to. But her feet refused to move. The man's posture sagged in quiet defeat, his presence shrinking in the stream of indifference. Dana's jaw tightened. A curse whispered under her breath. And then she turned back. "Sir?" she called, raising her voice over the drone of footsteps and distant announcements. "Do you need help?" He turned toward her voice. His pale, clouded eyes lit with sudden relief. "Two can't quite see the steps." "Everything's been foggy lately," he said, voice brittle. Dana stepped beside him and extended her arm. "Let's take it slow. I've got you." He grasped her forearm, his grip light but desperate, and they began the descent together, one hesitant step at a time. Behind them, someone groaned dramatically. A young guy shoved past, nearly knocking her off balance. "Move it already," he spat. Dana didn't react. She stayed focused on the old man. "Step down." "That's it. We're doing great," she murmured. They were halfway down when a voice sliced through the crowd. "Is there a problem here?" Dana looked up. A security guard stood at the base of the stairs, white, broad-shouldered. His uniform stretched tight across his frame. His arms crossed, eyes fixed on her. Dana straightened. "No problem," she said evenly. "He just needed a hand." "You work here?" She blinked. "No. Just helping." The guard stepped closer. "Sure you are." His gaze flicked to the old man. "You okay, sir?" The man nodded. "This young woman's helping me. She's been very kind." The guard didn't relax. His stare returned to Dana, heavy with that quiet suspicion she'd learned to recognize. That wordless accusation that followed her into stores, across intersections, into interview waiting rooms. That look that asked, silently, "What are you doing here?" Dana exhaled slowly. "We're almost done." He didn't stop them. But he didn't leave either. At the bottom, the old man released her arm and gave a shaky smile. "Thank you. You're the first person who even saw me." Dana managed a smile. "You're welcome." But as her eyes darted back to the station clock, her stomach sank. She was late. And the world didn't wait for girls like her. She took off running. Union Station blurred behind her as she burst through the glass doors into the cold morning light. The streets of downtown Chicago were alive with motion axes honking, phones ringing, voices calling, but all Dana heard was her own heartbeat thundering and the echo of her mother's words from that morning. "You got this, baby. Today's your day." It wasn't. By the time she reached the Monroe and Harding building, breathless and sweating under her coat, it was 10:14. The receptionist didn't even look up fully when Dana approached the desk. "Hi," Dana panted. "I'm Dana Wallace. I had an interview at 10. The woman checked the clock. Interviews ended at 10 sharp. "I know, Ithier was an elderly man at the station. He couldn't see. He needed help down the stairs. I couldn't just." For the first time, the receptionist looked at her. Not with empathy. With calculation. Her gaze flicked down to Dana's scuffed shoes, her coat, her skin. That was very kind, the woman said coolly. But policy is policy. Dana swallowed. Can I reschedule? You can call next week. If there's anything open. Dana didn't respond. She just turned and walked back into the city. Outside, the sun shone bright but brought no warmth. She stopped near a lamppost, leaned against it, closed her eyes. Her breath came out in shaky puffs. She had missed her shot. For what? A stranger? But she remembered the way his hand had trembled. The way his whole body had sighed with relief when she helped. His whispered, "Thank you." No, she hadn't made the wrong choice. Right just wasn't always easy. Dana adjusted her backpack and turned back toward the station. She had nowhere else to go. When she passed through the arches again, it all felt heavier, like every echo carried weight. She walked slowly, unsure of her purpose, until she saw him. The old man was sitting alone on a bench near the platform, his coat wrapped tight, his fingers fumbling with a bottle of water. Dana almost kept walking, but her feet didn't listen. "Mr. Hale?" she said softly. He looked up. Recognition warmed his face. "Dana," he said, smiling. "I hoped I'd see you again. I didn't get to thank you properly." She sat beside him. "You don't have to." "But I want to," he said. "I missed my interview," she admitted, staring ahead. "They wouldn't let me explain." "I'm sorry to hear that," he said, not surprised. "I wish it were different," she shrugged. "Being decent shouldn't come with conditions." "Mr. Hale watched her for a long moment, then reached into his coat and pulled out a business card. It was plain, just his name, Bernard Hale. A phone number, no company, no title. "If you ever need a reference," he said, "or someone to speak to your character, I'd be honored." Dana took the card, her fingers trembling. "You're the kind of person people remember," he said. "The kind that makes a place better." She didn't know what to say, so she just nodded. The next morning, Dana stared at the card as sunlight streaked through the cracked blinds of their cramped apartment. Her mother's coughing echoed from the bedroom. Then came a knock. No one knocked here unless it was bad news. She opened the door to find a man in a black suit holding an envelope. "Ms. Wallace?" he asked. "Yes. Mr. Bernard Hale asked me to deliver this to you." He handed her the envelope. Inside, written in elegant script, was a letter. "Dear Dana, you reminded me that kindness still exists without agenda. I'd like to offer you an internship at Hale and Whitmore Group. I don't use my influence often anymore, but in your case I must. The car will return tomorrow at 10 a.m. With gratitude, Bernard Hale." Dana clutched the letter to her chest, her breath catching. She read it again and again, disbelieving. Maybe, just maybe, this was the start of something. When the black sedan arrived the next morning, she stepped in with shaking hands and a heart too full to speak. The Hale and Whitmore building soared above the street, but it no longer looked like a tower built for other people. She was here now, and she wasn't going anywhere. Complete story continues below to fulfill full word count. Due to length constraints in this reply, the rest of the 10,000-word story will continue in a follow-up message. Continuation of the rewritten story, picking up seamlessly. Inside, Dana was welcomed by a receptionist who smiled warmly and greeted her by name. "Mr. Hale is expecting you. You'll be meeting with Ms. Alvarez, our Director of Talent Development." The elevator doors opened on the 14th floor, and Dana stepped out into a modern workspace of glass, quiet conversation, and the soft rhythm of progress. She caught her reflection in the mirror-paneled wall, jaw set, eyes wide with uncertainty but lined with resolve. A tall woman with rich bronze skin and almond-shaped eyes approached, a tablet in one hand. "Dana Wallace?" she said. "Yes. I'm Sophia Alvarez. Come with me." Sophia led her down a hallway of minimalist design, sunlight cascading through panoramic windows. "Mr. Hale told me about the station," she said without looking back. "He doesn't usually get involved like this. He said you reminded him what this place was built for." Dana blinked. "I didn't even know who he was." "That's probably why you helped," Sophia replied with a smile. They arrived at a modest office with a desk, a computer already powered on, and a nameplate that read intern D. Wallace. Dana stood frozen for a moment. her fingers brushing the back of the chair. You'll start here. Research, file prep, data verification. If you have questions, ask. And remember you're not here by accident. Dana sat, her palms flat against the cool desk surface. Thank you. I'll give it everything. Sophia nodded. Good. Because we're expecting everything. The first day passed in a blur of onboarding forms, software tutorials, unfamiliar acronyms, and breathless effort. Dana stayed late, her screen glowing long after most others had gone home. She reread every assignment, triple-checked her notes, and tried to pretend the stares from a few sharp-dressed interns didn't sting. One whispered, "Diversity hire," under her breath as Dana passed the coffee machine. Dana kept walking. The next morning, she arrived early. Again. She read client dossiers while eating breakfast from a paper napkin. At noon, Sophia stopped by. "Impressive work on the Corbin report," she said, tapping Dana's screen. "You've got an eye. Don't doubt it." Dana smiled, grateful for the encouragement, but still unsure it wasn't all about to vanish. Then came Friday. Sophia appeared with a sealed envelope and a serious look. "Mr. Hale would like to see you." Dana followed her down the corridor into a sun-washed office lined with bookshelves and old framed architectural plans. Bernard Hale sat behind a walnut desk, looking older than he had at the station but no less commanding. His cane rested at his side. "Come in, Dana," he said. "Sit." She obeyed, nerves coiled tight. "I won't waste your time," he said. "You've proven yourself. Quietly. Reliably. The people who matter have taken notice." He slid a folder across the desk. "This is a job offer. Full-time. Junior analyst. Health benefits. Retirement match. It's yours if you want it." Dana's hands trembled as she opened the folder. Her name printed neatly. Her title real? "But I've only been here 6 days, Hale said with a smile. "And in 6 days, you've demonstrated more character and initiative than some do in 6 years." Sophia stepped forward. "This isn't a gift. You earned this." Dana looked from one to the other. The man she had helped descend a flight of stairs now giving her the chance to ascend a life. I need to talk to my mom," she whispered. "Do that," Hale nodded. "But just know our name stands for something. I'd like it to stand for you, too." That night, Dana sat on her mom's bed, the offer letter between them. Her mother's hands, weathered from work and age, ran across the page slowly, as if memorizing it. "This is more than a job," she said. "This is your beginning." Dana cried then. Not from fear, but from relief. That following Monday, Dana walked through the lobby of Hale and Whitmore with her head high. Her new ID badge clipped neatly to her blazer. No hesitation in her steps. The receptionist greeted her like a colleague. The security guard nodded with respect. On the 14th floor, her desk now had a permanent placard. "New title suits you," Sophia said, dropping off a thick folder. Dana smiled. "It feels real now." "It's always been real," Sophia replied. "You're just finally starting to believe it." Weeks passed, and Dana began to move with a rhythm. She stayed late, absorbed presentations like gospel, took notes so detailed her supervisors asked to borrow them. And slowly, quietly, her name began to travel farther than her footsteps. But the world didn't change overnight. It happened on a Wednesday during a storm. Rain streaked the floor-to-ceiling windows. Dana passed Martin Langford, the same exec who had made the backhanded diversity comment her first week. He was speaking to another senior staffer. As she passed, his voice rose just enough. "Interesting, isn't it? How quickly some people move when they're lifted instead of tested." The words struck like ice water. Dana froze, then turned. "I wasn't lifted," she said evenly. "I earned this. And if you can't see that, maybe it's not me who needs testing." The hallway fell quiet. Martin blinked, clearly not expecting a response. He smirked, walked away. Dana stood for a moment longer, her heart pounding but not with fear. With certainty. Later, Sophia approached her. "I heard what happened. I'm fine." "You're more than fine," Sophia said. "People like him build careers on intimidation. You're building yours on truth. It'll last longer." That night, Dana came home soaked from the storm. Her mom looked up from the table. "Long day?" she asked. Dana dropped her bag, smiled, wiped water from her brow. "Yeah, but I stood my ground today." Her mom patted the seat beside her. "Tell me everything." So she did. The hallway, the words, the strength. And when she finished, her mother squeezed her hand. You didn't just stand your ground. You changed it. Every time you speak up, you make it safer for the next girl who looks like you. Dana blinked through quiet tears. I didn't think anyone saw that. We see you, her mother said. And so does the world, even if it's still learning how to deal with it. Weeks turned into months. Dana's position solidified. Her office moved again closer to the executive wing. She started sitting in on strategy meetings, contributing, not a whisper of doubt, not a footnote, not a filler, a presence. And at the quarterly all-hands meeting, in a conference room filled with polished wood and pressed suits, Bernard Hale spoke again. Many of you passed me last month at Union Station, he said. No suit, no name, no title. Just an old man standing by the stairs. A pause. One person stopped. She offered help when it cost her the most. And that woman, Dana Wallacey, is now one of us. Not because of pity or policy, but because character opens doors long before credentials ever do. Dana sat near the back, face flushed, eyes locked on the floor. But she felt it shift. The respect, the acknowledgement. After the meeting, people approached her one by one. You're Dana, right? He talked about you. I read your briefing on the Delacroix account. Brilliant work. We should grab lunch sometime. Dana smiled, grateful and grounded. Inside, something fierce burned, not arrogance, but affirmation. She belonged here. And she wasn't just occupying space. She was building it, redefining it, for everyone coming behind her. And she was just getting started.